And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, the constant assault on your freedom from the self-serving politicians in the Washington, D.C. swamp is unyielding. With the help of a few weak-kneed Republicans, a brand-new gun control bill just advanced on Capitol Hill will do nothing for gun safety in schools. We'll explain. Senator Cruz, he opposes this legislation, will be here to respond. That's coming up. Also, we'll have more on the Biden's administration and their plan to ban Juul tobacco products and take nicotine out of cigarettes, all while your government is legalizing weed and in other places hard drugs. Does that make any sense? Government makes a fortune on taxing tobacco, over $12 billion a year. Why would they want to give that up? Anyway, we begin tonight, though, with Biden's war on your ability to live your life without going bankrupt. Now, between inflation, spiking gas prices, record prices, a looming recession, Americans are suffering, and it's about to get a whole lot worse. According to one Washington Post columnist and on MSDNC, you all need to stop complaining and be grateful that Joe Biden is your president. Okay.
I'm just going to say this, and if I get banged for it, I don't care. There is a great deal of Americans where it is uncomfortable that they're spending more, but they are not going to go under. You know, you got to stop complaining when there's so many people who literally the inflation rate means they may only have 2 meals instead of 3. So I'm going to need you to calm down and back off, because it feeds into this fear, and then this fear feeds into people making decisions that creates the very thing that they're fearful of. And if you're in that category, calm down. Stop looking at your portfolio.
Calm down, back off, stop looking at your portfolio, even though 2/3 of Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck because of Biden economic and energy policies. That Build Back Better turned into settle for less and shut your mouth pretty quickly. The L.A. Times, meanwhile, has a slightly different take. Look at the headline, quote, "Yes, a recession looks inevitable, but it may not be that bad." Okay. Now, the article then goes on to explain that it was just a normal part of American economic life. No, it's not. In reality, this looming recession, coupled with massive inflation, coupled with record-high gas prices, this is a disaster that is impacting especially the poor, the middle class, and people on fixed incomes. We have not seen this since, the Jimmy Carter years. But don't worry, because Biden just introduced his big new plan. He's going to save everyone 18 cents on every gallon of gasoline you buy, a brand new temporary, God forbid, forever canceled gas tax holiday, as they call it. And according to Joe, he's doing everything humanly possible, everything possible within his power to bring prices down. He is trying real hard.
I promise you I'm doing everything possible to bring the price of energy down, gas prices down. I want to make sure we all work on this together.
Everything humanly possible except create more supply with drilling permits, except restarting the Keystone XL pipeline. We'd be getting 900,000 barrels of Canadian oil a day if we had finished it, except lifting the ban on exploration in ANWR, other federal lands, except, getting refineries back online. Come to think of it, Biden has already done everything humanly possible to drive up the price at the pump, drive up inflation, artificially reduce the world's supply of the lifeblood of the world's economy, that's oil and gas, just like he told us he would do over and over and over again. He's doing exactly what he said he would do when he was running in 2020. I'll remind you, take a look.
If we don't stop using fossil fuels,
We're all dead. Doing away with any subsidies for fossil fuels, number one. Number two, holding them liable for what they have done, particularly in those cases where you're underserved neighborhoods and you know the deal, okay? And by the way, when they don't or when they're deliberate, we'll put them in jail.
Kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with it, okay?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
Eliminated. We would work it out. You get the deal. You get the deal. For God's sakes, I'm doing what I said I'd do. Anyway, as for the gas tax holiday, almost everyone in the Democratic Party, including Barack Obama and even Nancy Pelosi, they have already referred to this as a political gimmick, which it is. I'll take the $20 over the summer that it'll save me, but it does nothing to improve the lives of you, the American people. Take a look.
And we're arguing over a gimmick to save you half a tank of gas over the course of the entire summer so that everyone in Washington can pat themselves on the back and say that they did something.
President Biden is thinking about implementing a federal gas tax holiday. I mean, that temporarily suspend the 18.3 cent per gallon tax on gas. Do you think that would actually help, or is it more of a stunt?
Look, I mean, I'm very sympathetic to the administration wanting to be seen doing something, but it is pretty much a stunt.
I'm no fan of the gas tax holiday. I think that's kind of a gimmick, and eventually you have to reverse it.
The pro is very showbiz. Okay, let's just do something. There it is. But it is not necessarily landing in the pocket of the consumer. It's taken out of the trust fund. We have to pay for that to return it.
Kamala is second. She's first in line to be president. If anything, God forbid, ever happened to Joe, and that one's second. Anyway, even officials in Biden's own administration, they can't get on the same page with this gas tax holiday. Take a look at this montage put together by townhall.com. Take a look at this.
What do you say to lawmakers who are already calling this federal gas tax holiday a gimmick and saying, best case scenario, it'll save drivers about $20 a month?
Well, there's no doubt this is a modest, if it were just the federal gas tax, right, 18 cents is a modest, modest amount.
We're talking about, 18 cents per gallon, which is going to go a long way. If you look at the average of states, that's 30 cents. Just looking at those two things, that's almost 50 cents. That's going to go a long way for 3 months.
It's going to go a long way. That's the same person that actually said it was very windy the day that Joe tripped 3 times going up the stairs to Air Force One, and the same person that said, I have a hard time keeping up with Joe. Wow. Here's the truth. If you drive a small to mid-size SUV several thousand miles this summer, your gas savings from this gimmick would be around $20. I'll take the $20. Not exactly life-changing, though. And I guess it's slightly better than Biden's last plan of action, which was to do absolutely nothing and blame Trump and Vladimir Putin and Fox News and oil companies. In fact, the administration, they have blamed Putin for absolutely everything. Inflation, gas prices, we've shown you the charts. You know it's a lie. Apparently, according to the White House, though, Putin has a much greater influence over the economy than Joe Biden, your president. Now, of course, that is all nonsense. Simply, it's a flat-out lie. And today, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, well, he completely obliterated Biden's favorite talking point. Take a look.
Given how inflation has escalated over the past 18 months, would you say that the war in Ukraine is the primary driver of inflation in America?
No, inflation was high before, certainly before the war in Ukraine broke out.
I'm glad to hear you say that. The Biden administration seems to be intent on deflecting blame, and as recently as just this past Sunday, spread the misinformation that Putin's invasion of Ukraine is the, quote, biggest single driver of inflation. I'm glad you agree with me that that is not the truth.
Yeah, it's at a record 8.6%, the highest in 40 years, CPI, and only 1.4% since Vladimir invaded Ukraine. So it wasn't Vladimir that caused America's inflation. Like his energy policies, that wasn't caused by Putin either. High gas prices. Putin didn't pump $2 trillion into an already hot U.S. economy. Joe Biden did. Putin didn't artificially reduce America's domestic production of oil and gas. Joe Biden did. Putin didn't let sociology majors stop paying their graduate degree loans. Joe Biden, that was his gift with our money. Now, frankly, I'm sick and tired, I'm sure you are too, of Joe Biden refusing to ever take any responsibility for anything he does. But what should we expect from our longtime lying, corrupt, and dishonest president? You know, the guy that used his crack-addicted son to make a buck and lied about having any knowledge about his foreign business dealings, who let his son pay his bills, a guy that's been lying and cheating and plagiarizing his way through life from law school to the White House, a guy who spends half the week on vacation in Delaware. But tonight, despite all of this, there is at least one person who must be happy. Somewhere in America, Jimmy Carter, wherever you are, is probably smiling. Thanks to Joe, he is no longer the worst president in modern American history. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.